Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. Today's episode is one of deep reflection. We're talking about grief and loss, whether it's the passing of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or even the loss of a version of ourselves. Grief shows up in many forms. It's something we all experience, yet often struggle to talk about. This isn't about fixing grief or rushing through it. It's about making space for it. Because the truth is, loss changes us. It reshapes how we see our worlds and how we see ourselves. So today, we're going to slow down and we'll explore what grief can teach us, how it can coexist with healing, and why it's okay to carry both sorrow and hope in the same breath. Whether you're in the midst of loss or walking alongside someone who is, I hope this episode offers comfort, connection, and a reminder that you are not alone. Welcome to the
That
show.
was a hell of an intro.
Hello.
I said that was a hell of an intro.
I'm like, hello, hello. Welcome back to the show, my friend, my favorite person, Mr. Darryl Frierson.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Thank
Thank you. Um, this year you and I both have experienced grief,
you.
and you have experienced it on a completely different level with the loss of your father and the loss of your uncle, who you
Mhm,
viewed as your father. I just lost my uncle, and you've had other situations that are happening that you are experiencing vicariously through your brother.
mhm.
And so I just felt the need that to take the opportunity to talk about grief, loss, and what that entails. We've spoken about it before on this show with Vernon and I, exploring friendship loss, but we never have really taken the moment to just talk about grief and that experience as a whole. So I felt like you were the perfect person to kind of talk to and connect with during this process, because you and I have spoken so much about it offline, and so I felt like it would be perfect for us to lend our insight and lend an ear to each other as we are on this journey.
Yeah,
So
I'm good. I'm good. That's why. I mean, it's a crazy thing that we all, especially as we get older, you're gonna be getting it worse and worse, just because you know it's life.
it is life.
you know, and it's gonna be pain. It's crazy. Before I was finishing up some stuff or whatnot, and I was listening to this Marlon is on the Breakfast Club, and he's talking about grief and stuff, because he lost both his parents in like a 2 year period.
Hmm.
And he was just talking about it, about how, like, it's a different route of your life. And I was like, I mean, I'm in the middle of it, so I haven't finished it fully yet, but it's just one of those things that you're not going to be the same person. But you have to figure out the whatever loss that is, the where you're going to be going next, and what's going to really take you, and what and maybe you don't learn anything from it. I know people are, oh, you learn from it. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's just you're transitioning into something else, and for
Yeah.
where you're going to be,
Yeah. I think, being a person that experienced loss so early on in life, with my mom passing away when I was 6 months. And it's the weird thing about even experiencing that, and um it's how it really came to a head as I entered my 30s, because my mom was so young. She was 32 when she passed away. um and experiencing different levels of loss, you know when my cousin got killed and we were really close, and having friends pass away, and we're in high school, and grandmothers and all this stuff. And it really is true what Regina said, King said about her son, and how she's experienced her loss, her grief. And she was just saying, you know, grief is love that really has nowhere to go, because you're so used to physically, emotionally pouring that into that person. And so that they're no longer here, it's just like, you disrupt it a little bit. And I think, I don't know, like, it's just really being still in the hills of this loss, like losing my uncle. And my uncle and I'll be honest, like we were not close when I was growing up.
Mm.
Um, I tend to think that I'm a fan favorite when it comes to certain people in my family. I have a couple of like uncles, like people talk shit about my uncle. I have an Uncle Craig. I know I'm my Uncle Craig's favorite. It's obvious. Like
Okay,
he
Craig's
might
favorite.
like me more than his kids at times or
Oh
whatever.
wow.
Like I feel like that's just me being extra. But as my uncle and I like different parts, me moving away and different experiences, my uncle would call me. And I would say this, my uncle that just passed away, my Uncle Wayne, when he would call me, he was literally the only relative for real that would reach out and check on me. So that shifts the dynamic of your relationship. So we had gotten closer. He would offer advice. Um, and how my uncle would talk to you was crazy. And I just knew, but it's part of the thing is like, he gonna give it to you straight up and you don't just take it, you don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
I would never think twice about something that my uncle said to me just because I just knew him and I just accepted him for who he was.
He was
And
gonna do that. He was just gonna do it.
he was just going whatever the fuck it was. And you was going, you was all right, cool. Like, and that's just what it was. And so I think what was hard for me about my uncle passing, um, and part of me felt guilty, and I shared this with you, was the last time when I was in St. Louis, my uncle called me. And I was in St. Louis for an extended period of time, but I also was doing a lot of stuff for my mom. And when I would get free moments, like I would try to see people for the most part. But I also was dealing with my own shit. And sometimes
That gets overshadowed.
that overshadows everything because you and I we were supposed to connect and do all the, record all of the, they ain't even happen because you had your own shit and I just
Mhm.
didn't take it to heart. And I remember I said, oh my God, my Uncle Wayne is gonna call me and cuss me out. And I'm just emotionally not, I don't have the capacity to deal with that today. And so when I finally called my uncle back, he didn't answer. And I remember sharing with you, I said, when I hung up that call from him not answering, I said something felt final about that.
Mm.
And then I don't know why, but it felt like I was never going to speak or see him again. And
Like
then a couple of days,
it was a finality to it.
yeah, it was weird, and it'd be different if but it was just a weird feeling that came over me. And a couple of like literally that Thursday, my uncle died on the 31st of August. That Thursday prior, um, I got a Facebook. You get those memories, and it was
Mhm.
a picture of my uncle and I. And I was just looking at Wayne, and I just said, I should probably, call him, but I just was just looking at this picture weird and went about the rest of my day. And then I got a call from my Uncle Craig Sunday. And my Uncle Craig never calls, by the way. Now, mind you, I'm supposed to be his favorite. And I was like leaving the beach, and Chantel was my sister-in-law, like my favorite. I call her my sister-in-law. Everybody does, but that's just my sister. That's just my sister. She was driving and I picked up and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna pick up because for me, it was like, what if it's something going on with my dad? But then when I was like, okay, let me just pick up. And so when he said, had you spoken to your dad? And I said, no. And then he told me that my Uncle Wayne passed. And then my heart just like went to my stomach.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, like this is crazy. And I immediately thought of his son, my cousin Weasel. Um,
Weasel. How do you get a
yeah,
name?
we got nicknames in our family. Okay. I got a pumpkin, I got a nuke, I got a weasel.
Weasel sounds bad, man.
Weasel, cool though. Like Weasel's funny. So but he named after his daddy. So you ain't finna be running around call everybody Wayne, so Weasel.
Okay.
So, I immediately thought of my cousin because a couple years ago, he found his sister passed away. And so I know he had been dealing with the emotions of that and having his own issues. So immediately I'm like, oh my God, Weasel. So I'm trying to get a hold. I'm like, who's over there with, like, I know people are with him, but is somebody going to stay with him?
He's gonna make sure you're straight.
Yeah, because he now found my uncle. So, you go through the motions of that. But like for me, I still really haven't processed it. And it's just an interesting space to be in, because I don't know, like, I think there's just so many things that are happening in real time in our family that make you kind of take a step back. But I'm always, me, like, I just care about my cousin's mental state. So it hasn't set in. And I think he was still, I don't know if he thought that I wasn't going to come to, or whatever. And I get it. Because I didn't come to, but I don't want to be too, like, put all the business out there. But like, I'm a person, I'm like, hey, if there's a body, for the most part, I'm going to try to go. But if somebody being cremated and you doing something later down, I don't know if it's different, and you show up for people in different ways. But like, I wanted him to understand and know that, like, my uncle really meant something to me.
Yeah.
You mean something to me. And I feel like everybody isn't showing up for him how they could. And so I shared with him, I said, hey, look, I don't have no job, but bring your ass. Like, if you want to, if you need a change of scenery, you are more than welcome to come to my house. Like, I got an extra bedroom, stay as long as you want. And I know it was just like, people are saying this, but then when I said I can, and I said, I cook real good, and it clicked. He clicked back into reality, and he did this. Yeah, okay. And I'm like, okay, now I got him. I said, no, there it is. Like, I really can, but I said, I want you to know that. And I told his mom, I said, I told Weasel this, da 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 da. Help him get out there, like, whatever that looks like. Make him come out there. And then I left, and I said, I know you think I'm bullshitting with you, but I got your back. Like, I'm there for you. But experiencing grief is just weird, because like, when I got back yesterday, I just felt like a shell of myself a little bit.
What do you mean?
Like, it felt, I think it's just, it was just everything that just was happening. And so many things were happening at once, where I just knew I didn't feel like myself. And so that's when we were texting. I was like, oh, I'm at the beach, blah, blah, blah. I should be good to record at such and such time, which I was, you pushed back. I was good. I was like, I could do 6. And I was like, that's 7:30. Oh no.
It's getting kind of late for you. And that's crazy. And
it's not that it was late. I just knew my body was tired and I needed rest, because I did not sleep good. And so I was like, I need to recenter myself. So my question to you is, what has your experiences been like? Especially, I know you've experienced like back to back pretty much. And I know that your relationship with your father was like a little strained. And then versus your uncle Kevin, and you guys were really close, and he was like, that's your daddy, that's your father. So like, what has that experience has been for you, having maybe unresolved feelings in one area, but then you had this other person that's where you were getting this from? Because sometimes that can disrupt the ebb and flow of the process.
Honestly, I don't know if I necessarily have a full answer for that yet, to be honest.
Okay.
More of anything, I've been making sure my cousin, who is his daughter, Leah, and my brother, how they're making sure they straight. So, because I'm the oldest cousin, man, amongst that, that part of the Woodson family. So like, I've always been just the cat that's making sure everybody is straight. So I hadn't even thought about it like that. I've been like making sure they straight, to be honest. Like, I didn't, because And maybe I don't know. I mean, I was always been the one like that. Like I sent my cousin a book reading about grief that someone uh uh not provided to me, suggested to me, that I let her I sent to her. I just bought it and sent it to her, or whatnot, and she's starting therapy and stuff like that, and which is good, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot, for her, because they were super tight, you know, like I pattern everything I do with Panda what he did with Leah, you know what I mean, like I
Okay.
really pattern everything of that. And like me and her got a thing now. Like before every one of Panda's games, I would send him a video of her warming up and stuff. So I passed that to her. Like I'm gonna do that with you every game for Panda, going forward, because I would do that with your dad. And she was like, I would really appreciate that. Just stuff like
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, so I really haven't necessarily fully grasped it all the way, to be honest. So yeah, that's something I'm still kind of working through.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing about what you said is it's almost kind of like you've immediately shifted that focus and that relationship that you had with your uncle, like with Kevin, to his daughter, and she's being receptive to it. So it's like it's feeling that what would could have potentially been a void for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, and maybe it would be different if like I wasn't close to her and it was like, dang, like I don't even kick it with your daughter like that, for whatever reason. But it's not like that, so you know, we can kind of help each other out, or whatnot. But it hits me random times, just like like man, like Panda's doing well in soccer and stuff. He would have loved to have been able to get up here to check out, because we had talked to
Right.
him about coming up for a game this fall and everything too. So it's just that stuff, and I would say one of the things that I'm trying to work through definitely now is people bitching about stuff with their family, and not and I don't mean family like that, but like one of my friends is, and it's like, yeah, my dad got gallbladder issue. Like, okay, like at least use that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm on the
Yeah.
other side of it, so I try not to be like, man, you complaining about stuff that don't mean nothing. But I have
You
to
know,
understand it's only a certain palette that they can even
yeah.
understand, because they're not on the other side to be able to have that perspective. So that's something that I've had to like, draw back on or whatnot.
Where yeah,
Or my
okay.
feeling is like, I would say my feeling of it.
Yeah. It's a weird thing because I get that. Especially okay, so it's so having a parent that transition and you're so young, I have to
You probably have a reverse remorse,
yeah.
right?
So it's weird because like so you guys know my aunt raised my sister and I we and she did a damn good job, right? And so she has a
Look,
child.
she kept
My
y'all off the pole.
You say what?
As Chris Rock said, your only duty in raising is daughters, keeping them off the pole, and they did that.
Listen, we was off the pole,
Yeah.
right? Um, but it was funny because I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I be forgetting that Jennifer not like my little sister for real, though she my little sister, because we all did, like my big sister, my little sister, and I we all did ancestry. So when it pulls her up, it's like my first cousin, and I'd be like, hold the fuck up, like, so you got an
That's not my first
attitude.
cousin.
Right. I got an attitude. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then you have to remember. And my mom was like, somebody had mentioned, she's like, oh, you don't have any nieces. And she was like, no, I don't have no nieces. And then she was like, oh,
I
I
do.
do.
What? Like
So
this is
it's funny because it's been us for it's been like that for so long. Like I said, I'm 38. My mom died, I was 6 months. So that's all I know. That's my mom. That's my little
yeah.
sister, right? So when I see people, like you said, and it's weird because you don't want to be, when it comes to like my processing the grief that I have from my mother, and some people don't get it. Like, well, you was 6 months, so I mean, you really, you don't really have. It's not that I don't have a right, but they don't understand how I can be sad about that. And I'm like, well, you have to think that I'm mourning and grieving what could have been had she
Mhm.
was, still
How would
alive.
you be around?
Yeah,
what would
what would
we do?
life be like? I said, so there's this whole other aspect of that, and having to deal with that. And man, some days, Darryl, it be a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I look at people that have had this journey with their parents, or if their parents getting sick, or their parents are sick, and I just always, I don't say anything. I'm like you. I'm like, whoo, let me shut up. But for me, it's like, because people wouldn't get it because they would think I would be like cynical a little bit about
Right.
it.
And that's what and I don't want to come off like that.
And I
People,
don't want to come
I'll
off
be
like
like,
that. But I always just try to say,
your dad got hemorrhoids, dog. What are you trip off of?
And it's so frustrating because I was like, I'm a person, I'm big on pictures, I'm big on creating memories and all of that stuff. And those things are important to me. And so I'm like, man, like you really cherish those memories. And I know that like now you're seeing books like journals and stuff come out where it is something where it's like, your parents can fill it out, your grandparents can fill it out, or whatever. That kind of gives like a little overview or history. It asks certain questions that they can respond to, answer. And I think that's so dope and imperative because you're keeping this person's like legacy and alive. Because none of us are getting out of here alive. People hate when I say that, but we not.
No, that's the only thing certain.
Certain and taxes.
Yeah, taxes too.
But
That's a very good
but
point.
I'm big people like you be on, dude. I'm like, because I want to share this and cherish this for the rest of my life. I remember my cousin sent me a video of my grandfather. Like they had it on like a VHS tape, and he was walking through the door and saying something. And you just seeing my grandfather's like personality and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, my grandpa. And how I love my grandpa so much.
So
And
do
I
you have
was so happy.
the same thing with your mother? Any video like that? So I'm assuming like video stuff like that of your mother, or is it only pictures you have?
It's only pictures.
Oh shoot!
Only pictures. I don't know
So
what
you don't even get to hear her voice even sounds like.
I don't know any of that, of what it sounds like. So that's why I tell people, I'm like, it's just like, it's complicated. And I don't know. Yeah. And like you said, like you have all this love for this person that you don't recall experiencing. Like I don't recall that experience at all in my life. And so it's like it's crazy. And so sometimes it is very, very hard to deal with that. I don't know if I've ever shared that with my parents, honestly. Like I try to ask questions. We really don't, like when I asked my dad, I don't know if that, because like I know from like some of my like cousins that the ins and outs parts of their relationship, and even, like I have an uncle that has shared stuff, but I don't know if it's just that. Which is interestingly enough, like, because as I was in St. Louis, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. My dad mentions him not being this emotional person. And he was like, I'm not emotional. And he was like, whatever happens, that's what it is. And then it's like, okay, well, we have to move forward. So how is this going to be handled going forward? So I don't know if it's that aspect of it, but he'll tell me, oh, you need to call your cousins, like call Lakati or so and so because they grew up with her. And I'm like, nigga, you married her.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So,
He might just not want to talk about it, man.
and I think that's really what it is. And I think it's like that for like my mom went, because I shared with her that I was really concerned because she said something to me like some years ago as I was entering my 30s. Because I just wanted everybody to write me kind of like a letter about my mom, email with whatever that looked like for you. And the only person that did it was my aunt that lives in Alabama. And I remember my mom saying every day she wakes up and it felt like my mom died. And by that time, I'm into my 30s. So like the way that I was like, that's really unfortunate. That's terrible. I would hate that. And my concern, my prayer, I like was for her to experience, joy and happiness where that cloud isn't over her anymore. And I told her as I was leaving, like literally, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna make me cry." I said I had not seen her in this form of happiness and joy in like probably since before my little sister was born.
Dang.
So I was like, Jimmer is almost 30. So I was like happy to see that my mom was happy again.
Mm.
So it's like I said, like grief, and I don't think that means that she's no longer mourning my mom or misses my mom or memories, but I just was like, I don't want to. Grief is just crazy. You
You
can
don't want to put her
smell
in a bad
something.
spot. You don't want to put her in a bad thing. Like, man, like,
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. I just was like, okay, my mom is getting older. I want her to be happy. I don't want her to be sad. I don't like those are things I think about. And when you lose people that you were so connected to, it really is like I'm a person that really tries to just cherish those moments, those happy times, all those crazy wild experiences. Listen, because I was a wild kid, okay? Like, and you have it when I say wild, like crazy things. So like, my mom also like pretty much raised my cousin Sean that passed away like not too much longer after I moved to LA, and we were really close. And he would call and your mind, like memories go certain places. And he brought up the fact that he's like, yeah, I remember I came in and was eating with y'all or something. I'm a kid. And he's like, and you stood up on that chair and you poured that Kool-Aid on my head.
oh
And I said,
wow.
oh my gosh, I remember this. Because sometimes you remember, and you're like, was that a dream or did that
Yeah,
really
you like, is that a
happen?
real memory?
So I said, yeah, you came in the kitchen and whatever we was probably watching The Simpsons and you changed the channel. And I was like, nothing needed to be said.
You and your animation shows, yo, like
Because we were little kids. My mom, people were so shocked. They let like your mom let you watch The Simpsons. I was like, it's not real. We're not gonna go and grab like be itchy and scratchy in real life and
yeah.
be like beating each other up. No, it's not real. But I was like, oh my God. And like then you think about other memories and how much joy this person brought to your life. And I think and even bad moments, and you be like, oh man, because he pawned on Nintendo one time. But just like you said, like just loving people so much. And I think that's something also being just very spiritual has uh helped me during this time. But also, like I said, those pictures, like this, I went home and I told my dad, I said, "Oh, I want to like grandma has some pictures that I wanted or whatever, blah 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 blah." So he like pulled out a box of stuff, and of course, the pictures that I want are not in this box, by the
Of
way,
course
because
they're
they
not.
never are.
Of course they're not.
But I find pictures that I've never seen before, or you don't remember taking, and I got all these pictures of my cousin Marquise. Didn't I need to see him in that box again? I don't know why y'all be taking pictures of dead bodies,
Yeah,
but not interested.
that's the weirdest thing to me. People don't know.
Um, so I was like, oh my God, I'm re-traumatized. So I now I have to get that image out. But then it made me flash. I'm like, oh my God, that happened. And then we did this at this funeral because why did they unbraid his hair? So it was like a whole thing. Like,
So you just
so
had a picture with a fro?
they had him looking like a Marion. So they had the braids, and then, but he had just gotten them. You sometimes you have to, and here's the thing that I love about us blacks when it comes to grief and it like lost all of that. It's just being able to crack
Yeah.
jokes.
You're like, you had him in there looking like a Marion.
Because why would y'all unbraid his hair? And so all I could think of, and you didn't do it all, like it was just like the front, like right here. So I was like, okay, maybe he was an organ donor. I like these are things that now come into your mind because he just got his hair braided. And so we
Did
set
he
him
get
up and fixed it.
did he get shot or something?
Yeah, but not in his head.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe it was like the torso. It was like the torso area. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So and then they also shaved his face, and he kept like a shot, like he kept not like a full beard, but like a nice shadow or whatever. And I'm like, why would y'all do that? So then we like, so yeah. So, but just being able, like, why would you know, I'm like, oh my God, he would be so mad. So we like trying to fix him, taking makeup off. Like, but even still, so like telling Greg, so Greg is, y'all know Greg is my hairstylist. He's like, oh my God. And I'm at the shop and he's doing he said, yeah, you're gonna be fired for that funeral. And he said, they're gonna be on you. And I said, well, my uncle dead, so he can't see it. And then here come Devin. She just hold me. And then Greg is like, well, yeah, but
You're right, but
and then we just bust out laughing. It was so funny. And it's like needing those moments to just, you know, of you know, like just laughter. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just think of just the importance of like things like that. So like for you, do you have, some people create altars or whatever, do you have a lot of pictures of your dad or your uncle Kevin or
no, I mean I got the cowboy hat, man. That's what
the cowboy hat?
yeah, that's the cowboy hat. That's it, man. And then just general stuff. I just, you know, like me and Leah, you know, have that thing with for Xander soccer games, you know, with that. Um, and then I, you know, of course, pictures and stuff of my uncle. And I got and it's a lot of stuff I haven't even been through, man. To be honest, I got a whole bunch of pictures and stuff like in boxes and stuff I haven't even been through, or whatnot. So, yeah, because I didn't really come back with any like mementos or anything from my uncle. My dad, I didn't either. Yeah, so I don't have no mementos, to be
He
honest.
said my dad didn't either.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, my question, like, okay, so you said like I haven't gone through stuff or haven't seen through stuff. Is it just
Mhm.
something that you're like, I'm not ready to do that yet?
No,
Or
no, no, it's pure laziness.
oh
And I got to, that means I got to go over to my grandma's, go get all them pictures and all them boxes in the basement, and that basement's still scary. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I love us as adults because I'm still scared of my grandma basement.
yo, and then you know she ain't got all the lights working down there no more, so I gotta really be down there and stuff, and I can get snatched up at any moment down there by that furnace or
No, look,
something.
my daddy went with me, and he was like, "Oh, they in the basement." I said, "Oh, yeah, come show me." You got-
Come show me.
and here's the worst part about it: I just saw The Conjuring like the night
Oh, see,
before,
see, I don't even
the
do
new
it.
one, and they was in the basement. I was like, "Ah, I'm gonna have to
I don't
go."
even do the conjurings. Don't even do them.
See,
Never seen one.
really, the first one
Yeah,
was really good. Actually, this last one was really good.
never
And
seen
I'm not a girl that care about franchises like that when it comes to horror.
one.
But
Me too.
I was so Daryl, you don't understand. I was sitting there so uneasy in the movies because I knew I was gonna have to go in my grandma's basement. And see, here's the thing about my grandmother's house. I don't know what that house what it's built over or whatever, but my grandma's house is somewhere spiritual portal. And it's not scary. It's not that, oh, I don't feel like it's evil.
It's a good portal, you saying?
Yeah, but you know, okay, so there's this story. One day I'm gonna have to come over, like I have to do an episode about bizarre things that we were told as kids, like, and as adults. Are these stories true? Which, sidebar, this is random. I made a video which I'm gonna post today of me eating seeded watermelon. Now, you know, growing up, they said if you ate the seeds of the watermelon, a watermelon would grow inside of you.
Yeah.
So I would never eat the seeds. But now, as a confident 38-year-old woman, I was all up and through them seeds. And I'm mad at the fact that I had to come to St. Louis to get a seeded watermelon. I've been on the hunt all summer.
They don't have cedar watermelons out there?
I could not find one for the life of me. And
So,
then when they said that
there's
Sprouts had it,
seedless watermelons in LA and in California?
you would think there wouldn't be, but they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Trader
Wow.
Joe's too, Whole Foods, everywhere. So I went to Sprouts because it's like, oh, they're in stock. Yeah, I got there 10 minutes too late. So, but there's this story that my cousin Tia was getting sucked into this mirror at my grandma's house.
What?
Exactly. There's this story about Tia getting sucked into this mirror at grandma's house, like, and they pulled her out of this mirror. This is a story that my aunt Sharon, God rest her soul, told me, and I feel like grandma was in on the story. So Tia was so little, she don't really remember the ins and outs, because I sent her the clip when I was talking about it on the damn internet. You can't, a scary podcast, but she was like, "Yeah, that's what happened. I need the details." And you know, if you can't give me no more than yeah, it happened, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
But
I
here's the
need more than
kicker.
that. I need more than that.
I need more than that. So I was like, I have to see what my aunt said, because I sent her the clip and go back over our old text messages. But we end up staying the night at my dad's house. Like, my dad made this fuss at this time. Janelle also is not living in St. Louis, so he wanted us to stay at the house. So we're like, all right, cool. It ended up not being bad, but Janelle was like, "What are you doing?" So I took my coat and I put it over the mirror. And she's like, "What is?" I said, "That's that mirror that they said Tia got sucked in. I don't need that."
But you don't know if it is or not, right?
I
Or
don't know. But all I was covering the mirrors.
just to make sure that they ain't got no portal. Oh man.
But so y'all said this happened at my grandma's house. And you be seeing shadows and stuff sometimes. So like, they got this cat. My daddy got a cat. I went to the bathroom. Yo, this cat popped out from under the sink. And I was like midstream. Like, it didn't, nope, he got on me. Thank God I held it. I was like scared enough where I didn't move. But I'm like, okay. And then the cat gonna meow at me like I'm in the wrong. What meow? You scared the hell out of me.
No, but she's like, I live here. You don't.
You do not listen. My cousin Chrissy came through the back door. Chrissy scared me. I'm screaming. She's screaming. We both screaming together, because I was like, okay, I need to go home. But we had dreams. Like, a lot of times, like when I have dreams and I'm at home, it'd be home at my grandma's house, and I'd be asking my cousins. I was like, "So does anybody have dreams and y'all just randomly at grandma's house, and it like you open a door and it leads you to like Narnia or some shit?" Like,
I mean, wasn't that what they went through as a mirror too? And
they went through a closet.
Closet. Okay.
Yeah, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They went through
the Lion with the wardrobe. Yes.
So that's it'd be stuff like that. So you being scared of that basement.
Sad part, those Narnia books end sad. You know that, right?
I never got into them. I never got into
like their actual books. So there's like 7.
Yeah, I know. I never got into the book.
Yeah, like everybody's dead except for like one of the brothers and sisters. Everybody was dead.
So how did they die in Narnia?
World War II.
Oh no!
Because you can only go through. I mean, this is getting into. You only could go through the wardrobe through there after a certain age. You can't go back. So all these other, so only a certain amount, like it's younger kids that are going through. So when you get back, World War II is happening, like in the last book, and like the oldest brother like dies in the World War II. The other one, they get bombed because they get bombed by the Germans because they were in Britain, and like everybody's dead. Like when those last sets of kids come back, just about everybody's dead that you meet in the first Narnia movies. Because it's a whole nother set of kids by the end of it. Because you can't go after you become an adult, you can't go back to Narnia. It's something like that.
I could see that. It's kind of like what Peter Pan,
like similar to Peter Pan.
Yep. Yeah.
And all of them are supposed to be. I mean, one of them, the middle brother is dead in that too. He dies in World War II too, in Peter Pan.
Okay.
Dang, or either World War I or World War II. I forgot which one it is, but he dies. The middle brother, the Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Them books be dark, man, low key.
I mean, when you talk about like I know like Little Mermaid is like the actual book is like dark in real life. Mm-hmm. I think Snow White too, because people they always just think of the version of, like Disney coming in and creating, these new narratives surrounding it, but. Yeah, when you read, like, I know, like, the real story of, like, Wizard of Oz, like, even when you talk about Wicked, it's really dark. Because like a lot of people was like, I just too dark sided. I'm not letting my kids go see that or whatever. So I mean, I don't know how y'all didn't think Wizard of Oz was just even the one for TV. The house land on the old lady, on the witch. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a tripped out, man. It's at the end of those books, if anybody want to check them out, they end sadly.
He said they real sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
C.S.
I don't.
Lewis was a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess back to the situation, like at
Mhm.
hand, with all the jokes aside,
Yeah,
everybody has their different ways of processing, like grief. And grief also is no time frame for you to be over something either. And I think that be the thing is like something can happen and it just trigger you. Like I was explaining to my mom, I was like, oh man, it'll be like I could roast some coffee, make some coffee, and depending on that roast, it'll trigger a memory of like my grandpa drinking coffee, going to Hardee's or whatever. Then you be like, oh, and like my grandpa died. I was in college, so my grandpa probably been dead like 18 years. Because if I've been in LA for just about 15, yeah. And you think about stuff like that, and you just be like, or I'll smell something. I'll smell a cologne and it'll make me think of like my cousins or something. And so you just kind of you have to allow your body to experience and feel that and not fight it. And I know like everything is still very fresh for you, but I want you to be mindful of that. Like if you feel something, like don't push it away. Sit in that.
yeah,
Yeah. So I hope us talking about our
yeah.
loss.
And I hope. I mean, I hope. I mean, hold on. I'm gonna grab the book real quick that I want people to check out. Hold on. You can pause it. It's called On Grief and Grieving. It is Finding the Meaning of Grief Through the Five Stages of Loss by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler. It's been awesome. I'm halfway through it. It's been good.
No, I'll definitely put that in the show notes
Yeah.
and pass that along to my cousin as well. And hell, even myself.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's just like getting. I think the crazy thing with grief is for real getting past that like anger stage. Especially if somebody is much younger, and we always feel like, oh, they were so young, and somebody be 85 or whatever. But I think when people really fit literally in the literal sense are like, okay, you somebody like this kid or baby to like, age 50 or whatever, it's like it's so many things because you're like, oh, they still have so much life to live. So it's that anger part of it that kind of really gets people messed up. And I think probably once you get over that hump, and it's not smooth sailing, but I feel like there's at least my experience has been being grateful for that time that I had with that person.
Yeah.
Like I said, pictures, memories. And it was so crazy because the other day I said to my sister, I said, damn, Marquise ain't got no business being dead. And she laughed, and then I just, but then I could feel, and it was like I feel like the anger was like about to creep, and I was like, let me take a step back,
And
and
really,
then take a deep breath,
mm-hmm.
and then just be appreciative that I found these photos, because for me, it is like I found this nigga report card, uh, like different things like that. So being able to, I like text his daughter. I was like, hey, like, do you want? I found all these things about, your dish. She's like, oh, let me see what they are. Like, text me the photos. I was like, okay, cool. But just seeing like new like photos of him that I had never seen before, whatever. And I'm like, oh, like he let me know he here. So I was able to do that and that like bring it down. So like, and I also, like I said, I think that's also why like photos, videos, and all of that are so important. Help us in our podcast, podcasting together. Like this creates an online journal diary of us, our personalities, and things that will make us tick and pop off or whatever. So I think that is the cool thing about the internet and social media. But I hope this moment that we share together talking about our grief help somebody. I was about to say wish you the best of luck of your that's not what I'm trying to say. But you know what I'm saying. I'm like, I hope as you go through that journey, you can rest in like gratitude and hold on to those memories and those moments that you share with your loved ones.
Yeah.
And it helps keep you rooted and moving forward. So, Darryl, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, they can check all of us out. Everyone using Aquarius on the SLC network. You can go there. Any platform, you can see all the different shows on there. If you're on YouTube, you can go check out the videos. Or if you just audio, you can go there and check out all the shows as well. And thank you, man, for having me, man.
I appreciate you taking a moment out your day, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast as well. Yes. As long as Whiskey Sour, well, everyone needs an Aquarius on the SLC network. I have a fun project coming out that we're in pre-production for, and I'm kind of excited and a little nervous.
Why you acting like that?
Hush your mouth. So I can't wait to share that with you guys as well. Once we're actually starting shooting this weekend for that. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all here next week.
See you.